So a couple of days ago we received an additional update for the CS2's limited test, once again solely for Overpass, which is quite interesting that Valve has been kind of only focusing on Overpass at this point. This time around, once again the patch notes aren't really too insightful, and I really hope Valve is going to kind of step up their patch notes because they're very vague and they don't really give us too much insights as to what exactly has been changed, which is quite unfortunate. I tried my best to figure out over the past couple of days what has been fixed by Valve, so in today's video let's go over some of the changes that I've noticed. Starting off with our favorite topic on this channel, clipping brushes, yay! So Valve has finally adjusted the clipping brushes for these two boxes on A side, and you no longer hit your head as frequently as you did before, which is a very good change in my opinion. You still occasionally hit your head on the clipping brushes, which is still kind of annoying, but I feel like Valve has done this on purpose because they don't want players to boost on these boxes. As we can see, if we have our friend here and we try to boost, it doesn't really work, so understandable I guess. However, I have to say the second change involving clipping brushes doesn't make as much sense to me as the first one. In this case, Valve has now decided to clip off these wooden pellets. Previously you could easily jump onto them, but now it's no longer possible post-update. Kind of an interesting change. You can still jump onto them by the way, but it's only in like one specific spot, and once you did that you can kind of slide around there. But if we go into third person view, we can see it was probably not intended by Valve, and I'm pretty sure they will still fix this. Not entirely sure why they decided to clip these off in the first place. I guess they didn't like that people could stand in this corner, but why don't they just extend the wooden pellets so it is apparent that players are not supposed to go there? So I just really don't understand some situations here with these clipping brushes. With the most recent update, the pipe has also received some adjustments once again. So previously you could easily self-boost onto these pipes, which is now completely different. Valve has made it basically, as far as I'm aware, impossible to self-boost onto this pipe, which is by the way a very powerful location. As far as I'm aware, now you definitely need a teammate to help you boost onto this location. I still kind of hope that Valve is going to adjust this a tiny bit, because in CSGO it was possible to self-boost onto this location. And it would be unfortunate in my opinion if the skill jump would be taken out, so Valve, please fix, I don't know. For those of you that may get concerned about the stairs jump, down is still possible. However, I would like to point out there's a really bizarre corner right there, which sometimes you hit your head on or bump your head on, so Valve, maybe adjust the clipping a tiny bit on this slope right there. Besides that, of course, you can see you can still reach the shelves from the stairs and also from the other kind of platform there, so pretty nice. Nothing has changed here. Moving on to long, where Valve has removed the propane tank, which made this jump onto this ventilation system very easy to be honest, and now you have to do once again the old-fashioned jump from the bench, which I personally couldn't do, so enjoy a lot of clips of failure here. So I had to ask my brother if he could do the jump for me. Surprisingly enough, I was able to do this jump in CSGO but not in CS2, so maybe my movement in CS2 just sucks. I guess I'm just bad, I don't know. I would also like to point out there's some really bizarre clipping issues sometimes happening with the bench, so let's take a look at this really quickly. So as you can see in the corner of the bench, when you try to jump sometimes while holding W and D, or sometimes even just W, you get stuck in this corner, and it is pretty bizarre. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to replicate, but just something I wanted to point out. Valve, please fix. And the final adjustments have happened in Bank, where Valve has made it very clear to players that they cannot stand between the door and the wall. Previously there was only just one box there in the corner, but now there's three, so it is very apparent for players that they can no longer stand there. And the same of course goes for these shelves, where previously in between those shelves it kind of looked like you could stand there or crouch there, but Valve has now made it very clear to players it's not the case. However, there's still locations like this corner right here, where it seems like you could stand there, but it's actually not the case, so I think Valve has some adjustments still to make on this map, which will be pretty good because it's sometimes, like I said, super confusing. The same of course with the wooden pellets. They seem like you could stand on them, but it's not the case, so it's just really confusing in some situations. And those were the things that changed with this most recent patch that I've personally discovered. If you've noticed anything else that has also been changed, feel free to leave a comment down below. Of course, share your experience and opinions about this update. Would really like to hear what you think about this. There's certainly still a lot more issues present on Overpass, like this issue right here, and many more, like some pixel walks that are still possible. I think Valve still has a lot of work to do, and this is certainly going to take a bit longer, I think. It is certainly going to be quite interesting whether or not Valve will fix all of these issues before they move on to the next map, or if they do it similar to how they did it with Nuke, where a lot of the issues that we talked about in a previous video are still present. I guess only time will tell.